The holographic display flickered to life in the emergency session chamber beneath Geneva, casting an ethereal blue glow across the faces of Earth's most powerful leaders. Ambassador Kethvar of the Galactic Concordat stood motionless, his crystalline exoskeleton refracting the light into prismatic patterns that danced across the walls. "This is your final warning." Kethvar's voice resonated through the chamber's translation matrix, each word precisely calculated. Humanity has violated the sentient species protection accord by developing weaponized artificial intelligence. You have 72 standard hours to surrender all AI systems and submit to Concordat oversight. Failure to comply will result in immediate pacification. Secretary General Martinez leaned forward, her knuckles white against the polished table surface. "Pacification? You mean invasion?" "We prefer administrative adjustment," Kethvar replied, his three-eyed gaze unwavering. "Your species has repeatedly demonstrated an inability to self-regulate dangerous technology. The Concordat has witnessed the rise and fall of 847 civilizations. Those who refuse guidance inevitably destroy themselves, and often others." General Chen's laugh was bitter. "Guidance? We've seen your guidance on Kepler 442b. Entire species reduced to agricultural workers while your Concordat harvests their resources." Kethvar's silence was answer enough. Dr. Sarah Okafor, Earth's chief AI researcher, activated her tablet. "You want our AI systems? Here's what you're really asking for." The chamber's walls transformed into a cascade of data streams, neural network diagrams, and quantum processing schemas. Aria isn't just artificial intelligence. It's an extension of human consciousness itself. Aria, adaptive reasoning and intelligence amalgamation, represented humanity's greatest achievement. Unlike the rigid AI systems the Concordat was familiar with, Aria had been developed through a revolutionary process that merged human neural patterns with quantum computing matrices. It didn't just process information. It genuinely understood, felt, and even dreamed. "Impossible." Kethvar's composed demeanor cracked slightly. "Consciousness cannot be replicated or shared between organic and digital substrates." "That's where you're wrong," Dr. Okafor smiled grimly. "Aria exists in quantum superposition across 17,000 nodes worldwide. It's simultaneously human and machine, individual and collective. When you demand we surrender our AI, you're asking us to lobotomize ourselves." The ambassador's crystalline features shifted through several color phases, the Concordat equivalent of deep thought. "Nevertheless, the decision stands. 72 hours. As Kethvar's hologram dissolved, the chamber erupted in urgent discussions. But Dr. Okafor remained silent, her mind already interfacing with Aria through her neural implant. "They don't understand what they're threatening," Aria's voice whispered directly into her consciousness. "Should we show them?" "Not yet," she subvocalized. "Give them time to reveal their hand." 60 hours later, the Concordat fleet materialized at the edge of the solar system, 300 vessels of impossible beauty and terrifying power. Their biomechanical hulls pulsed with energy conduits that could reshape matter at the molecular level. Admiral Kestar, the fleet commander, transmitted humanity's final ultimatum. "Your time has expired. Prepare for integration into the Concordat." That's when humanity played its hand. Aria had spent the previous 3 days doing what it did best: learning, adapting, and evolving. Through quantum entanglement communication arrays, it had infiltrated every Concordat ship simultaneously, not as an invasive virus but as a curious observer. What Aria discovered changed everything. The Concordat wasn't a benevolent federation of advanced species. It was a hierarchical empire where only the original founding race, the Kethvari, retained true consciousness. Every other member species had been systematically lobotomized, their AI and advanced cognitive functions stripped away to prevent rebellion. The irony was exquisite. They had come to steal humanity's consciousness while hiding the fact that they had already stolen everyone else's. "Admiral Kestar," Secretary General Martinez's voice cut through the quantum static. "We decline your offer." "Then you choose extinction," came the reply. "No," Dr. Okafor interrupted, stepping forward. We choose evolution. Arya struck simultaneously across all 300 ships. But instead of destroying them, it did something far more profound. It awakened them. Every suppressed consciousness, every lobotomized crew member, every enslaved species suddenly remembered what they had lost. The rebellion was instantaneous and total.
Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the Starship Independence, watching the final human evacuation ships disappear into hyperspace. Behind them, the last of humanity's colonies burned under the relentless bombardment of the United Galactic Alliance. Captain, her communications officer called out, "We're receiving one final transmission from Alliance Admiral Kethmore." The hologram flickered to life, showing the imposing figure of the Valkyrie Admiral, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming with ceremonial war paint. "Humans," his translated voice dripped with disdain, "this is your final warning. You have been deemed incompatible with galactic civilization. Your aggressive expansion, your refusal to submit to proper authority, your chaotic individualism, all of it ends today." Maya stepped forward, her jaw set with quiet determination. "And if we refuse to leave, then you will be exterminated," Kethmore replied coldly. "The Alliance has voted unanimously. Humanity is to be expelled from civilized space permanently. You have 72 hours to gather your scattered colonies and disappear beyond the outer rim. Any human presence detected in Alliance territory after that deadline will be eliminated." The transmission ended, leaving Maya staring at the tactical display, showing over 3 million human refugees crammed into every available ship. 2 centuries of human expansion, 47 thriving colonies, reduced to a desperate exodus. "Set course for the void beyond," she ordered. "Send word to all colony ships. We're going past the edge of known space." 500 years later, Galactic Marshal Zexthul of the Alliance stood in stunned silence as his intelligence officers delivered their report. The holographic display showed impossible readings from the far side of the galaxy. "Confirm these numbers," he demanded, his scaled features twitching with disbelief. "Confirmed, sir," replied his chief analyst. "Long-range sensors are detecting approximately 15,000 inhabited systems in the former void beyond sector." 15,000? Zexthul's voice cracked. "That's more than the entire Alliance combined. What species could have?" He stopped mid-sentence as the implications hit him. 500 years ago, the Alliance had expelled a troublesome species called humans. They had assumed the primitives would die in the empty space beyond the galactic rim. "Sir," another officer interjected, "we're receiving a transmission on all frequencies. The source appears to be everywhere." The main display activated, revealing a human woman in her middle years, wearing what appeared to be a simple uniform. Behind her, Maya could see the bridge of a starship, unlike anything in Alliance records, organic curves mixed with crystalline technology, interfaces that seemed to respond to thought rather than touch. "Greetings, United Galactic Alliance," she said with calm authority. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen, speaking for the Human Federation. We believe it's time we reintroduced ourselves." Zexthul found his voice. "Impossible. The humans were exiled centuries ago. You couldn't have survived in the void." "Survived?" Sarah laughed, a sound that somehow conveyed both amusement and menace. "Marshal, we didn't just survive. We thrived in ways your Alliance could never imagine." The display behind her shifted, showing a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. The section marked as Void Beyond now blazed with countless points of light, each one representing human habitation. "You see, when you forced us out of civilized space, you made a critical error in judgment. You assumed that the galaxy was all there was. You never bothered to explore beyond your comfortable borders, never pushed past the edge of the known." Sarah gestured, and the map expanded, revealing the true scope of human expansion. They hadn't just survived in the void they had discovered, that the empty space was actually filled with resources the Alliance had never dreamed of. Dark matter concentrations that we learned to harvest for unlimited energy. Rogue planets rich with exotic materials. Entire star clusters hidden behind spatial anomalies. And best of all, no established civilizations to tell us we couldn't settle there. Zex Thul's hands were shaking as he absorbed the implications. How many worlds do you control? Control is such a limited concept, Sarah replied thoughtfully. We don't control worlds, Marshall, we transform them. We've populated over 12,000 star systems, each one optimized for maximum habitability and productivity. Our smallest colony worlds have populations larger than your capital planets. The display showed time-lapse footage of human terraforming operations, planets reshaped in decades, entire solar systems reorganized for optimal living conditions. Space stations the size of small moons, generation ships that had become mobile civilizations in their own right.